Good morning and welcome back to live streaming coverage of the Stu Sells Tankard. My name is Jerry Gertz of Curling Zone. I'd like to welcome you to our game here this morning from the KW Granite Club. We've got Jason Camm of Ottawa, Ontario, taking on Toronto's John Epping. Exciting matchup here. Looking forward to a good one. Danielle Inglis joining me on the broadcast here. Welcome, Danielle.
Good morning, Jerry.
Thanks for jumping in the last minute here. I know I kind of wrestled you out of bed here to get on for the show.
Well, it's there was no rush to get out of bed this morning because there wasn't a curling game on for me, but like usual. But I'm happy to be up and chatting this morning. Thanks for asking me.
So we've got a fun game here. Jason Camm, the brother of Matt Camm. Normal second for Team Epping, but Matt is on the bench this weekend.
Yeah, it looks like we're starting it off with a bang here. How have the teams been doing this weekend, Jerry? How's everyone feeling out there? What's the general sense?
I think they're pretty happy being back on the ice. You know, it's a third weekend in a row at the KW Granite Club. We had the Cameron's Brewing mixed doubles 2 weeks ago, September 25th to 27th. Jennifer Jones and Brent Lang won that. And then last weekend, the Stu Sells Oakville Tankard ran. And then now here, the Toronto event. So, you know, getting into it a little bit. Some of these players have been on ice now for each of these weekends. Though for a team like Epping, getting together and playing as a team, this is the first time this season.
That's always such a toss-up right now in our given climate of figuring out whether it's best to be on the ice and get some games or maybe just put that on pause for a minute.
Yeah, there's certainly that decision being made by many teams. I know you're in that boat. As a team, you decided to not play early in the season and, you know, maybe play a little later. Others, you look at a team like, you know, this team, Epping's team as well. They're fully covered in sponsors. And for them, this is a way for them to earn a living to a degree as well, especially with a team like Epping. So, you know, for them, there's a different incentive to play at the same time.
Exactly. Everyone's coming at it from a different perspective, their needs, and also the risk factor too. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
that being said, like curling is, as we all know, can be socially distanced, especially at a club level, where if the guidelines being followed from Curling Canada, it's definitely possible to stay apart.
Yeah, we've got a small minor tweak to the sweeping. We do allow the second sweeper to be in play. We have been encouraging them and working with the players to try and continue leaving more distance. You want to try and be that full 6 feet apart. But at the same time, when you're in motion, side by side down the sheet, it's the trailing right behind the sweeper that's a little bit more concerning. So, you know, if you're a little closer than 6 feet there, it's not as bad. But again, you know, we want to try and get them there. That's the intent at the end of the day.
I
It's
think
hard breaking some habits. That's part of the challenge.
for sure. But I think it's so important what you said there, Jerry. Like, explain the why behind it. It's not just a rule for the sake of a rule. It's all with keeping in mind protection and how can we do the most and why is it that we do that?
Exactly. Like in a club scene, you're, you know, it is an extra body on the ice tracking up and down during a shot. So there is traffic it creates and causes. You know, one of the other things too about sweeping, only one team gets to sweep, and of that team, only one player gets to sweep on a shot. So it, again, it just tries to keep people out of the play, out of action that don't necessarily need to be there.
Exactly. Well, a bit of an uncharacteristic miss here from Ryan Fry. So seeing that third Matt Hall, he's drawing to sit 3 in the rings for the Camm team. And again, Team Camm has hammer right now. And that's the next, a little bit short here. First end, a little bit stiffer.
Looking for the hit and roll under the rock in the rings.
This is a spot that we've seen. It's can run a little bit straighter depending on your weight.
Yeah, both these teams have been on this sheet now this weekend. Epping last night against Team Howard. Not such a great performance, though. 7-1 the loss.
Beauty shot, though.
Yeah, you look at that shot there, and, it's a really nice play. They got the short run back. What you'd see a lot of teams there is maybe play that double on those 2 yellows. Instead, they make this shot. It's a little bit easier, and now it makes Camm have to make something a little harder.
As we saw before, this happened with Ryan that the rock just ran, and same with Matt's rock. Again, you up that weight a bit, and it's just not going to move. Put any outside on it, and it's really not going to move. Might even fall a pinch.
Looks like with that ice, the guard's going up.
I think that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, 2 to come. First of the skip stones. John Epping here, throwing them for Team Epping.
And that's just how
Ryan,
quick it can change.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I was going to say, this is just how quick you can change. Camm was looking at putting 3 in the rings, and now John's guarding his single rock in here. So this end is turned around in just a matter of a couple shots.
Throwing up the guard. And does show the harder side for sure. Shows a little bit on the straight side. So Jason Camm going to play the run back here.
Yeah, and even if he misses, peels out, they're still got plenty of room on the other side as well if he ever needs to draw and get out of this end.
Looking for the run back and just, again, catches on the straight side just a little bit. So now Epping going to draw lie 2 here. Try and force Camm into a draw against 2 early.
Smart to put the pressure on. Because really, they haven't had much practice on the sheet ahead of time. So big pressure first one. Looks like this one's just running. Similar to if you up your weight on, we've seen it on draws here before too, that it just won't catch the curl in the same way. Now, if he had caught the curl, gone over that center line, that weight might not have been too bad, but just never really made it there.
Yeah, just probably a spot. A few stones have been down already, and just speeds up a little quicker when you do that. And now looking like the blank here for Jason Camm.
Yeah, there's certainly been a back and forth end here, Jerry.
Yeah, both teams handing off the opportunity. And there it goes back. All right, steal a one here in the first end for Team Epping. We'll be right back after this short break.
When I sweep with the Gold Line Fiber Light, I feel like I'm sweeping on TV.
That's life.
More surface area, better results.
It's that easy.
It's that easy.
You need to sweep for weight? You need to sweep with this.
Now, every time I curl, people ask me, what are you sweeping with?
What are you sweeping with?
What are you sweeping with?
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Firehouse Subs has so many delicious quality subs. There's something for everyone. But the one that started it all more than 25 years ago was the Hook and Ladder. Piping hot and piled high with freshly sliced smoked turkey breast, honey ham, melted Monterey Jack, and loaded with the freshest toppings on a toasted roll. Try the Hook and Ladder today to find out why everyone keeps coming back again and again. The Hook and Ladder. One bite and you'll be hooked. Visit firehousesubs.ca to order online.
Some longer than others. Brian and I play for about 12 minutes.
I pretty much paid back the sponsorship just on my Sunday poker game. It's fantastic.
So you're the worst then, Ryan? Is that what I'm getting? I want to know who the worst and the best player
Going into it, I was very confident thinking that I was going to be the best, but I've humbled myself quite aggressively with how poorly I am. Like, I am very bad at poker. It is not even, if I had any aspirations of becoming a poker star, that has evaporated very quickly.
Right.
Yeah. No, John's definitely the best poker player.
You are, Matt? You're the best?
I'm brutal. I don't even know how to play.
Matt does not gamble. Like, he's great because I love to gamble. So I'm like, I love to go to the casino, and like Matt's just like, he's just the best sport because he'll just come with me and hang out and have a couple of beers while I gamble. So like,
and then Johnny will feel bad for me, and then he'll give me $50, and I'll win him $400, and then I just don't like it.
It's so true.
Guys, are you like in training at all? Are you trying to stay in shape, or is it the quarantine 15 that you're all battling? Have you guys heard that? 15 pounds everybody's supposed to gain?
I'd have to weigh myself to find out, and I'm never going to put myself through that. So yeah, it's a different time. I mean, we're fortunate. We've got a pretty decent setup downstairs, and unfortunately for me, we also have a good gymnastics setup for our 7-year-old daughter. And I tried to do, I don't even know what it's called. I tried to do something, and I'm not 7 years old anymore, so I stopped doing that. But we're trying to stay in some sort of game shape, hoping that we're going to play by September. And but yeah, like Ryan said, I mean, being at home, that liquor cabinet door seems to be calling my name more than it normally does in the off season. And, you just want to hang out with the family and relax and eat some good food. So it's been a challenge for sure. It's been a strange time.
John and Matt, you guys staying in shape, or what's your?
Well, I'm trying. I don't have a nice setup at home, so I don't have a gym. So I go for a lot of...
Back here, second end. Steal a one for Team Epping. Just a fun little feature there from Team Epping off their social media. their partnership with Coolbet. They did some features this summer, interviews with the players. They did a poker game Sunday nights where Team Epping fans came out and battled up and played some cards. Joined by Danielle Inglis on the phone here.
Hey, good morning. And we've got both teams trying to create some offense here. Just not quite the shot making that we're used to seeing right now. The players seemingly trying to get used to the ice right now. Saw the center line guard go up on this end. Been trying to get him rolling behind there, but it's been a little bit elusive.
Pat Jansen throwing second zones for Team Epping this weekend. Matt Camm out with an early season injury.
I'd say if you're going to get an injury right now is the time.
Yeah, it's never ideal. But I'm hearing it's kind of a week-to-week situation. That should be due back anytime.
Well, fortunately, they have a great player filling in for them.
Yeah, Pat Jansen, a bit of a super spare the last few seasons. I know I saw him playing with Team Botcher in Kurazawa, Japan last December. Again, being a little bit more cautious here as well.
I mean, it does play into it when you only have one sweeper too. Some of your calls, your judgments, it is at some level affected by only having one sweeper. And I mean, we have seen before COVID hit, we have seen times when teams will only use one sweeper.
Yeah.
But even still, it's different when you know you only have one sweeper and you can't bring the second one into play. So it's these teams also getting used to the different conditions. And they want to keep that one fairly high because the guard is high. Looked like it poked out the other side, though.
Yeah, that center guard is almost not in play with how high it is and how much curl there is on the ice.
Yeah, we have seen there's more curl going towards the board there than there is away. Again, a bit of a tricky spot. Gotta watch the weight here because if you up it at all and there's any outward motion in your release, it's going to be gone. But it looks like this little less weight. We'd see now Madden his last shot. Gets by the guard.
Even gets the roll underneath a little bit.
Nice weight control. It's like Ryan has a hair more weight on this one. Still nice, comes up to nose.
Yeah, I think both teams happy to play a simpler second end here. That first end was certainly a wild affair.
Yeah, well, as you can see, both teams don't appear to be 100% comfortable with their draw weight. We saw that in the first end, and then the second end with the guard being high and just not really getting the rocks into the perfect spot. Again, that spot on the ice, a little bit more weight was asked, and rock ran. But great opportunity here for Skipper to test out his draw weight.
Yeah, we've seen on this sheet the in turn here, it can run a little slower. This is the side that curls more, and because of that, the rod does have to travel a little bit further, and so it can be slower. But it's been a lot slower than that even too on some shots.
You've also got to be careful about where you put the broom. I was a member of the KW Granite for years, and just it's part of their system that about you get the broom into the half of the 12-foot area. If you ever get outside of that, it has a tendency to run. But if you get inside, it has a nice curl. You can see John, great shot there. Looks like it might be a hair exposed on the broom side here, but regardless, it's tough to put a rock in that the Camm team wouldn't be able to hit. So it's either they're going to be playing a sort of a lightweight tap, probably looking for the roll in behind their guard as well. Love hearing all the questions from the chat. So feel free, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, ask questions and get in the conversation. We'll try to answer all that we can.
Yeah, for sure. We've got we're monitoring both. We've got some good viewers on this morning, bright and early here from the KW Granite Club.
Yeah. Always
love the clowns that show up to say, curling, boring, those kinds of silly comments.
Hey, it boosts the numbers, so.
Love it. Throw those posts, throw all the boring comments you want up there. I don't know how you found your way here or how you, wasted your time showing up.
Well, a bit of a miss here from the Camm team. Only caught a piece of it, so Epping Stone is still in the ring. So second draw attempt for John.
Going to find themselves forced here now with that mistake. Camm should have still a fairly makeable shot to get his point.
But that's a little deeper than they would have liked. Just biting top four would have been ideal. But at the same time, again, it's a force.
Yeah, we saw Camm struggle with this line on the last shot. That can get in your head a little bit too in the spot. I think you could almost take the curl side on this shot and just let the ice do the work for you.
I was just thinking the same thing, Jerry. To be honest, it's where your comfort zone is, but I guess that they haven't played the other side with that weight, so they're not comfortable. But I agree. Just seeing how it goes might not have been a bad idea. This is looks like a little bit bigger weight than we saw out of the thirds.
Yeah, this has to move yet. A little bit too much ice or a little bit too much weight for that spot. Back four draw could have been enough there, but steal two more here for Team Epping. Now lead 3-0 here at the Stu Sells Tankard. We'll be right back after these short messages.
Hi.
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 I'm Sean Chang.
My name is Chris.
Hi, I'm Phil Hanna.
And I am an RBC mortgage specialist.
I can meet you where you work, where you live, or halfway across town. Unia Mortgage Specialist.
You can find us anywhere, from here to here, and even way over here. But what is a
Mortgage specialist.
And what does a mortgage specialist do?
What does a mortgage specialist do?
What does a mortgage specialist do?
Well, to start, we understand our communities.
Whether you live in Little Portugal
Or run and operate a store in Bloor West Village.
We want to understand you. We take the time to get to know each and every one of our clients.
Because we all have unique circumstances.
And we would love to get to know yours.
So, let's meet at your closest branch.
Or maybe over a cup of coffee.
So we can understand what matters to you.
We're here to support you.
And we never,
Ever.
leave our clients behind.
Whether you're buying your first home
Or your fifth.
Or even when you're looking to build your dream home.
We bring our deep understanding of the real estate landscape and our communities.
Together, under the one team of RBC.
para melhor atender você.
Because our goal is to help you achieve yours.
Our goal is to help you achieve yours.
And we'll work tirelessly to make your dream home a reality.
To make your dream home a reality.
Your goals and dreams deserve an expert. Come and see an RBC mortgage specialist today, where we won't leave a client behind.
Back to curling here at the KW Granite Club. Brent Lang with lead stones for Team Epping.
I've been asked for an update across the other games. As you can kind of see there in the background that the other games are in their second end. We haven't given you any updates because, in fact, the other two games out on the ice were blanked in the first end. But just a reminder that you can watch all of the line scores at curlingzone.com.
Yeah, that would be the same place we're looking for scores as well. Obviously, the view we got is what everyone sees on screen as well. Calling the game from home, Danielle in Whitby. Did I get it right this time?
Got it right.
Good. All right, here we go. Myself, London, Ontario. Picking up the feed at the KW Granite Club, put together Evan Seacombe and his team. We've got Steven on camera, Jake on switching, just pulling together these awesome shots from the club. So Camm with the corner guard up. 5-rock rule, that's still protected, so Epping's going to throw another one in the rings.
Did have a few questions here, Jerry, about the mask policy for the event.
Yeah, and I think this is something that goes into the whole Curling Canada guidelines that you were talking about as well, where those were put together as not necessarily a set of rules for curling, but some suggestions to consider depending on what your local health authorities' restrictions are. And an extension of that is masks as well. You know, some jurisdictions are facing stricter restrictions right now, and Ontario is one of those places. So the players have been asked to wear masks fully throughout the event.
And general consensus from the athletes on this?
Nobody loves it. It's something you have to adjust to. From most people I've talked to who have tried it, who've been out there with them on, you know, they say you get used to it. You know, it definitely, they do get damp, so there's times you probably need more than one mask for a game. So, you know, if you're curling league and you want to play, you know, you're going to wear a mask, consider, you know, putting a couple extra in your pocket for the game.
Masks in that regard are similar to broom heads. Once they get damp, they're not as effective.
Yeah, it's the challenge really is about just preventing the spread from the person wearing it. And I think any barrier is still going to help with that at least. So I think there's less concern with that. You know, the whole challenge behind being told not to wear masks, or we didn't need to wear masks at the beginning, comes down to the fact that the person who wears it, you know, your standard mask like this, isn't really protected because of the way you touch your mask, you touch your face, all of the things that add to the spread kind of counter out the good of the wearing the mask. So the whole idea is you're wearing the mask so that if you're sick, you keep from spreading the virus. So that, that's the key when you think about wearing that thing out on the ice.
So Camm team's getting something going this end. They had that nice freeze you saw. Now looking for a hit and roll. Sit in front of that pile, maybe get a pinch buried behind the guard. We're flirting with that center line area. Again, once you get across it, it'll start to go, but they didn't quite make it there. So a bit of a roll too far. It's like they're talking about making a play on that rock that just rolled.
Ryan Fry joining this team last season, throwing third stones for Team Epping. A heck of an addition to the lineup here.
So we're playing at big weight, split off both of them. I think they're even looking for a rollout towards the side. And it looks like it spun back in time.
Just enough. That's one of those ones where, with only one team allowed to have control of the house for sweeping, you're sitting there watching that on the backboards.
Yeah, a bit of a helpless feeling. The skip inside of me is dying.
For Camm, they still have that corner guard in play.
Beautiful weight, but yeah. We're seeing a few uncharacteristic misses out here from both of the teams this morning, and again, you wonder, because these are, especially Team Epping, one of the top teams in the world right now, seeing these, but again, it does, there are small factors like only having that one sweeper, playing on, even though they played on this ice before, it's still has its tricky spots. So getting used to all of those really plays into it.
Yeah, for Ryan Fry and Pat Jansen, this is the first curling of the season. So I don't imagine they've had many practice rocks as well, as there's very few clubs even open at this point. So we're certainly seeing that inconsistency.
KW is one of the only ones, though. Right now, we usually see clubs open up after Thanksgiving on a normal year, and I think there are still quite a few who are planning on it in this area. Anyways, we've had, unfortunately, on Friday in the Toronto, Ottawa, and Peel region, which is, anybody unfamiliar, Peel is just outside of Toronto.
It's essentially Mississauga and Brampton, right?
Essentially. And unfortunately, there were guidelines that states that you can't play any games. If your facility is open, it can be used for training only. And that will be in place for the next 28 days and will be reevaluated closer to.
Yeah, so that certainly puts a pause on the curling season for most places.
It does. And it was so unfortunate because the clubs have been working so hard to try to make curling happen safely, of course. I want to send my kudos out to the Toronto area curling managers. I'm the past president on the Toronto Curling Association board of directors, and I've seen the hard work that all the club managers have been going through, and they've been working with all of the latest. So publicly giving them a kudos on all the work that they've been doing, and hopefully we do have a curling season.
Epping trying to draw another one in, block that.
They were, but John hasn't quite found his draw weight, slipping a bit deep there. They would like to have kept that one in top 8.
I believe that was John's first stone of the end here.
Yeah, so it's a great opportunity for Jason to sink one on there. Freeze it on there. Even a little bit higher works.
Jason with a little shout out in the chat says the Brighton and District Curling Club will be opening.
Excellent. We love to hear that. Because it's important to note too, I know there are viewers across Canada and even across the world watching this. Every province, every region, every city is in a different place. I mean, I think we'd all like to be living somewhere on the East Coast right now with very minimal cases, but right now, especially in Ontario, we've got a very different situation, and just trying to all do our best. But if we do it safely.
Yeah, exactly. And, I think every club is in its own situation too. Some financially, I've heard from some clubs that have a nice reserve fund that they can lean on for a year or even more, while others, there was a club that recently announced closing. It cost them $40,000 not to run, and they're projecting an $80,000 deficit if they do run.
Yeah.
So, a decision like that is probably easy to make because of the financial risk that comes from this too.
Exactly. So we saw Jason was about 6 feet too heavy on this draw attempt, bumped it back. So John's just playing a lightweight tap. They can sit, I believe it's 5 after this shot. They negotiate through all of the rocks in the back.
Chips it out. Really nice weight control there.
Yeah, beautiful.
Not an easy shot on this ice where Rob Adams with the work here has got everything humming along. Lots of curl, but it will punish you if you don't throw the right weight for the right broom.
Exactly. And you'll see, you might ask, well, why don't we just draw to the 4 foot? Well, Jason is familiar with this spot in the ice. So he's going to put the broom down where he had it on his shot. Needs a good chunk of the 8 foot for the single.
So final stone here, the third end. Team Camm looking to get on the board. Looks good here. Sliding into the 8 foot area. Ooh.
That's a close one. They're going to take a look.
We're still waiting to see who scored there. We'll be right back after this short break.
Hey guys, welcome to the Stu Sells team's brand new listing. And I am so pumped to bring 13th Street to market. This is a super cool house. We are in New Toronto. The lake is right there. The bike path is right there. Do you know what? I've always said in real estate, this area of Lakeshore, New Toronto, is going to be the next beaches of Toronto. You can see the development. And voila, we have this great raised bungalow. The ceilings in the basement are 8 feet tall, and you have a 1-bedroom apartment in the basement for extra income. And you know what? My client has done all the hard work. She's taken out the wall. She's put in the structural support beam. So everything's there to put a second story on, or you know what? Just come to this beautiful country-like setting backyard and just chill. The home has a lot of upgrades. Like I said, it has the beam. It's an open concept, and you know what? The crazy thing about this bungalow is it actually has a front hall closet, which most bungalows don't. So look, go to stusells.ca. You can see all the pictures and videos of this amazing backyard. You can take a tour of the area and call me Stu and come have a showing.
Back to curling here for the fourth end. Again, working on the views we got. Still waiting to find out who scored in that fourth end, or that third end there. Thought that looked good, Danielle, but that really slid.
Yeah, it did. It was tough to tell. They were still taking a really good look at it. Yeah, you had mentioned earlier, Jerry, the players have to be careful on how many rocks go down a certain path. It seems like it's been a hair slower, and see 1 or 2 rocks go down and it just speeds right up.
So Brent Lang with lead stones here. Pat Jansen in the lineup, replacing Matt Camm. Could have been an interesting battle of brothers here. Matthew Camm, the older brother of Jason Camm. I know Jason and this team have competitive goals. They want to get into some of the bigger events, start qualifying for Grand Slams. So they've put together a team, got some investment, and are working hard on trying to climb that ladder.
It's looking here like Epping scored that one. They stole another one just by a fraction.
Yep, just slid that too much, too deep. So now Camm is going to put up the corner guards. 2 on the same side here early. And Epping's going to continue putting on the pressure. He's going to throw up a guard himself. You know, you go back to a pre-5 rock free guard zone, this would be unconscionable.
Yeah, it's a different world out there with that 5 rock. You also do see, I love the double corner guards on the same side. Not quite that close, and that's not what they're aiming for, but seeing that a lot more. It's a great tactic. And now, of course, you're seeing this situation that offense is your best defense. Slid deep, but still a bunch of rocks that Cam's going to have to deal with. So I like his approach here, Jerry, seeing him not necessarily removing them from play right now, but it looks like he was indicating tapping. So more just rearranging the stones right now.
Yeah, you got to get those stones moving. You know, some people might call a freeze here to stones in front of the rings, or front of the button. But you got to get those rocks moving behind the tee line if you can do it. And the earlier the better. And then, you know, it opens up using those corner guards. Playing freezes in the middle right now will essentially lock you out of using those corners, because you'll never be able to count anything as shot under there. So, yeah, a good call here to just sort of bounce these around. I like to call it the splash.
Oh, that was a really good splash.
There you go. Beautiful shot.
Like that term. A former
Cameron Goodkey with the throw there.
I like to say a former coach of mine used to call it redecorating the house. You don't throw all the furniture out and go to IKEA and buy new stuff. You just move it around, and all of a sudden it looks like a new house.
There you go. Yeah, this is going to be a tough shot here for Pat Jansen. Oh, so they settled. They just peeled the corner. Okay.
Yep.
Smart play there. You know, that rock in the middle, they could, you know, so many ways they could make it for Team Camm. So smart play there by Team Epping. Go and attempt to the double peel. Does only get one. But again, still cleans up a little bit.
Just a reminder to all the viewers that all of the line scores and the draws can be found on Curling Zone. We had a question about when Team Jones plays. They play at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. And again, if you check Curling Zone, you can see their draw and all the draws for that are upcoming as well for events.
A shout out from Janet to High Park. She's talking about, I know they're, I believe, not opening at all this year. Or is it a January 1 for them?
I think they were, last I heard, they were looking at postponing till January. Any club that's looking at January is just evaluating based on where the numbers are.
Yeah. Yeah, the High Park Club, the home of this event, typically. Usually, most years it falls on Thanksgiving weekend.
It's just to finish up our conversation earlier, Jerry, about how these teams how these clubs are making their decisions. First and foremost, you have to wait for the information from the government, what the federal government and the provincial and territorial governments to see, because everyone at every province level, it's a little bit different. Then even then, different restrictions can be region by region or city by city. So the clubs are taking their direction there. They're also looking to their provincial or territorial curling associations for their own separate direction on what's best for the sport. And then drilling down, like you mentioned, you've got to look at the financials. You've got to look at the layout of the club, how many entrances, exits you have, how big the space is on the ice and off the ice. These all play factors into it. These are just some of the factors that are taken into consideration. I can tell you with great certainty from talking to several clubs that none of these decisions are made lightly, and that there are a ton of factors that go into this.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to wade through for sure. You know, you look at, I know we've had a number of questions about the curling in Alberta right now. Kevin Cooey's team's been streaming games, multiple cameras with commentators. It's been really great to follow and see. You know, I think it's the next evolution for some of the top teams because, you know, I think for what you can do with the investment, you can now take your sponsorship to the next level there too.
Yeah, it is great to see what the players are doing with their sponsorship, and mention how important that is for teams that are making a living, or making some of the players on the team making a living from this. It's important for them to give that value to their sponsors. So being on live streams like this. So also kudos to you, Jerry, for doing this. I know these are very long days. You're on every draw, so are your guys behind the camera. So big kudos to you guys.
Yeah, we've got a great team putting this together. Stu Sells sort of driving the bus behind the scenes in KW there. Also, special thank you to Rylan Hartley for helping bring this together too. Rylan even threw a team together to play this weekend. I think he was pretty excited to get on the ice just in general.
His enthusiasm is fantastic.
Yeah,
Love
for
it.
Sure. And wants to learn and continue to get better. And yeah, it's really amazing to see that energy in the sport.
It is. Great double there. Hoping that would stay a bit higher, because looking like there could even be a triple lined up here.
Yeah, that follow through just came a bit too deep. That's my favorite shot there. Make the double, follow through, and continue into play. Yeah, they would have loved that to stop. What, top 8?
Yeah, top 8 would have been pretty ideal. If there's a player who can make it, this guy can. He loves throwing these kind of shots. Matt Hall. And that's pretty much as good as you can make it, sitting 2 after this. You will see, though, that it leaves a bit of a flat double here. for Team Epping. So speaking of other people who like making doubles, John, this is right in
It's the
John's
wrong
bread and
turn,
butter.
though.
It's also a tough side of the sheet right here. I will say that.
So the intent here is not to make the double, but definitely make a roll and group those stones.
Could even nudge that yellow over a hair.
Yeah, he's hoping to maybe have a chance at a double on his next shot. At a minimum, cut down the scoring area as well. So hits it on the nose. This is going to give Camm the opportunity to draw around the middle. 3 is in play now.
And the thing when you're playing a team like Team Epping, you've got to be really careful with your placement of this rock here. Yes, behind the guard is great, but we also know that John likes his run backs. So making sure that wherever this rock lands, it makes it tough for a run double. We've had some questions about how masks might impair your breathing. If you've ever seen any of the videos out there about breathing, people who are up to the machines that tell you your oxygen saturation, it really has very little to no impact. It's not comfortable, that's for sure, because the masks are meant to trap your breath, but you can absolutely still breathe.
It's just a little bit harder to draw your breath in and out. One of the things that masks have been used for in the past is high altitude training. So for people who need to head up to Denver, maybe for a marathon, something like that, they could train at sea level wearing a mask, and they would sort of get that similar effect.
The most important part about that, though, is that we're trying to keep everyone healthy with what everything, all the rules that are in place here, and it's much more healthy to consider wearing a mask than not. Benefits greatly outweigh any sort of a risk.
Yeah, you're still getting all the same amount of oxygen. You're just having to work a little bit harder. The one challenge that we do see out here is communication. So again, teams working on hand signals, just finding other ways to make sure they get their point across. Again, another good training element for these teams, because as we've seen in the Olympics, there's a lot of times you can't even hear what's going on inside your own head.
Yeah, honestly, it is a good training portion. You need to have that nonverbal communication down, and having one of the sweepers absolutely dedicated to the nonverbal, since they're not sweeping, their hands are free, their broom is free, so they can do that. So we saw John make that hit. I don't think the double was there, and that was about as good as they could do. But it'll be a draw for 2 for Team Camm.
Sorry, I missed that score there. Did you catch that, Danielle?
They got it.
There we go. Put 2 on the board for Team Camm. We're going to head to the 5th end. We have a game again. Epping will get the hammer for the first time here at the KW Granite Club.
No matter what speed you're comfortable with, the G50 line has a shoe for you.
That's comfortable and stylish.
When it was time to get his first pair of curling shoes, we went with Goal Line. Now it's time for the G50.
Looks great, but it grips better than anything. Man, this is a light curling shoe.
These remind me of why I like to play the game.
This is actually the most comfortable curling shoe I have ever owned. It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Glenn Howard here. I'm a proud beer store manager, one of 7,000 hardworking employees. There's been a lot of talk lately about putting beer in the corner stores. So let's talk about the beer store. We keep prices down with our efficient distribution system. We check IDs, keeping beer out of the hands of minors. We take back and recycle 87% of beer containers sold in Ontario. And we love what we do. I'm proud to say when it comes to selling beer, the beer store does it the best.
Firehouse Subs has so many delicious quality subs. There's something for everyone. But the one that started it all more than 25 years ago was the Hook and Ladder. Piping hot and piled high with freshly sliced smoked turkey breast, honey ham, melted Monterey Jack, and loaded with the freshest toppings on a toasted roll. Try the Hook and Ladder today to find out why everyone keeps coming back again and again. The Hook and Ladder. One bite and you'll be hooked. Visit firehousesubs.ca to order online.
After 4 ends, Team Epping leads 4-2 over Team Camm. Not quite the start Team Camm was looking for against Epping.
No, they just weren't getting the rock placement and weren't making the shots early on. I mean, Team Epping wasn't on their strongest game ever in the beginning there, but just made a few more when it counted.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a bit of that early season rust here. Brett Lang was on the ice at the Cameron's Brewing mixed doubles. Him and Jennifer Jones won the event.
Yeah, they had a great start to their season.
I was watching a couple of the games on the streams, and in that final especially, Brent didn't miss. Talking to Charlie Richard afterwards, he said that they felt they played better in that final, and they got blown out than the semi before.
It's hard to top one of the world's best players when they're on their game. That's for sure.
You got Jennifer going first, throwing that draw, and then they were chasing after that every end.
Just like riding a bike at the beginning of the season for them, I suppose.
It seems to be. So now the draw underneath, the double center guards. Epping is going to peel the high one here. Doesn't mind the setup inside the rings right now.
And in this case, Team Epping is they're just trying to make sure it's not a bad end to score. I mean, I know they want to, but going up by a bunch it's a strong position to be in. Again, with only one sweeper, you're seeing a lot of the sweepers switching sides. So that's a pretty key skill to have right now with the current set of rules that are out there with only one sweeper. Having that ability is so key.
Yeah, it's sort of mixed double sweeping setup now, where you see that sweeper usually jump back and forth as needed.
Yeah. The idea at the very basic level is that your push stroke is stronger than your pull stroke, so you're pushing towards the direction you want the rock to go. So if you want to curl, you're pushing towards that direction. If you don't want it, you're on the other side pushing away from where you want to go. It's just a very basic explanation.
Yeah, we certainly learned a lot in 2016, the Broomgate year.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit more about scratching at that point.
Pat Jansen in the lineup for Team Epping. Again, Matt Camm, brother of Jason Camm, skip of the opposition. Out right now, week to week with an early season injury.
Again, team Epping with the hammer in this one. Team Camm looking to replace that guard. And this is, you never want your sweepers to just be walking by the rock. It's going to come a little bit deep. Want to keep that above. Now I suspect we'll be seeing some sort of a double. Again, they're opting to take the two that are in the 4-foot area.
Yeah, get this across the face. You can kind of get both. You're probably going to lose the red in the back, but for Epping, that's not a bad thing right now.
Nicely done.
Yeah, making it that way, you catch that red, and it still stays in a good spot.
And that's a shot Ryan doesn't miss that often. Well done. And Team Camm will looking for a draw around. I would suspect even a freeze right now would be good. They need to try to force Team Epping to single. Or even
I think we have a new nickname for Matt here in the chat. Mad Balls. Matthew Hall here throwing third stones for Team Camm.
He does love a good nickname.
Yeah. Also known as Hot Dog. Love a good character in the sport. You know, I think Matt Hall's a great story. Absolutely loves the game as well. And, you know, I really hope to see this team get a chance to climb that ladder and compete in some of these bigger events. Ryan Fry with the big weight here. Running it straight back. Gets both yellow stones to go.
Not a beauty. Lost all of the stones in the ring and kept the shooter. Very nice. You can see an example of the only time you can remove the mask, which is to drink water. Goes right back on.
Yeah, the players have been amazing all 3 weekends working around the guidelines. We have to remember that nobody out on this ice has any practice or training with the new ballet of curling, the motions around the sheet to try and create space out on the ice. And, you know, as we saw the first weekend with 4-player curling last weekend, it was certainly an adjustment as players kind of figured out where they needed to be and how it all flowed and everything.
And it looks like I was mistaken on that last call. I couldn't see the back of the rings from the overhead shot, but you could see from that shot there that the red did stick around. So Epping sitting 2. Camm was looking at making a decision on whether they would double out those reds or play a freeze to the back red. I didn't quite catch what they ended up calling. Jerry, did you?
No, not 100% certain, but I'm pretty just knowing Camm, I'm expecting to see him draw here. And that's the weight on this slide here. You want to get this fully buried. You don't necessarily need to freeze to the back.
Got to make sure you're by that top one, though.
Really working hard on this. Dragging it for shot. Really nice throw there.
It looked like it might have poked out the side, but again, we've discussed how difficult that one particular spot on the ice can be. So you'll see John just throwing the run back. So well done by Team Camm. While we wait, a quick update on the 2 other sheets. Glenn Howard is up 6-1 over Brandon Tippin after 4 ends. And Sam Steep is up 3-0 over Rylan Hardy after 3.
Epping with the run back. Makes it go away. That's the in-turn run back there from John Epping. A thing of beauty.
It was. Again, there's that red that's still biting about half the back 12.
So again, not certain of the call here. Could be throwing that draw again. Key here, though, if they do play the hit, they're going to have to make sure they stay because the split on the front is very possible. And he is going with the draw again. I love this call. He just made it. Make Epping have to make that run again.
Yeah. Looks like he might have a hair more weight than he had on his last one. Draw, and the key is that if anything, you want to be a touch heavy and bump it out.
Yeah, here comes the curl. And I think that's what they ended up being here.
Though interesting, it looks like there's a chance that red is, I think it's still on.
That was a mistake.
Yeah, big time, because Epping could pick up their deuce right now.
Yeah, just a little bit lackadaisical there at the end, and you know, I think maybe they didn't think it was going to slide as far, and with that, it curls more, so it would have missed the back. But yeah, that was a shot where, you know, as soon as that rock was top 12, you got to think, okay, you know what, we got to hit that back one with enough weight to move it out.
It was a little in betweensy, and so
Yeah.
Here comes last rock in the end from John Epping.
This really nice down control weight here, and whoa. Ends up wrecking on the center guard. But we'll hold for a single point. You throw that nice down weight and, you know, you get a miss. You still might get something out of it, as Epping does here. Takes a 5-2 lead here into the 6th end here at the Stu Sells Toronto Tankard. We'll be right back after these short messages.
Hey guys, we are here at the summit at King and Bathurst, and this condo complex is crazy. Look, it's got an outdoor pool, it's got 2 barbecues, has an indoor pool, full gym, yoga, workout room. This is truly like being at Club Med. Now, we're bringing this amazing 1-bedroom and den condo unit to market, brand new wood floor, brand new gorgeous kitchen, brand new bathroom, open concept. This building was built about 30 years ago. When they built these condos, they built them for living. So we're almost 700 square feet of open space, floor to ceiling glass, so much room, closets, storage. This is an amazing unit. So go to stusells.ca, look at all these pictures, see the video, and then call me, Stu, and come for your personal tour.
Bit of an interesting shot there, Danielle. I didn't think we saw that coming even halfway down the sheet.
No, it didn't. Yeah, it didn't appear they did either. When the camera switched back to them, they didn't have. No one was pounding it.
Wonder if maybe a bit of a pick there or something.
Yeah, perhaps. So, the same time, it was at least they still got a single point out of it. I mean, it's ideal to keep up right now. 5-2, pretty good position to be in.
Certainly like to thank all our viewers for tuning in. Looks like upwards of nearly 600 people watching here this morning. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody here, all our Canadian fans and friends. Danielle with the Team Canada garb on.
Gotta be warm and comfy right now. It's a little bit of a fresh morning out here in Ontario.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I got the long johns on just to stay nice and warm. Calling a curling game Thanksgiving weekend, a little bit of back to normal. A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. It is nice to see the curling out there. I know from talking to some of the players, it's a combination of concern about a risk, but honestly, the players who have been curling at the KW last weekend, this weekend, said that they felt quite safe with the safety protocols that are all in place, the mask wearing on the ice and whatnot. So that's great to hear. And of course, for everyone out there watching, it's nice to see some live curling for the first time in 7 months.
What are we? September, October? Yeah, 7 months, going on to 8 now.
Hard to believe that the Briar was really the last curling that we saw.
Yeah, it was. It feels like a decade ago. That time, you know, spending time on the media bench at the Briar and the Scotties, and you know, the good times pre-pandemic where you could just get together in a group and throw a big party like they did in Kingston for the Briar.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you everyone for engaging in the chats on YouTube and Facebook. We're taking a look, so if you have any questions for us, please feel free to put them out there.
Also, please share. You know, let your friends know on your Facebook wall, on your Twitter feed that you're watching curling. Let them know that these teams are in the field. John Epping, Glenn Howard, Jennifer Jones. It really helps us. You know, there's no cost for anyone to do that, but it has a huge opportunity for us to reach more fans and, you know, try and grow this great game. And the more fans we can get, the more streaming we can hopefully get down the road as well.
Absolutely. And Jerry, we had a question regarding the sweeping rules for the event this weekend that someone would like you to review briefly.
So, Curling Canada guidelines are one sweeper and only one sweeper in play. I'm not 100% certain of the behind the tee line rules on Curling Canada. Can you sweep behind the tee line if you are in control of the house? I'm not certain, but we are allowing that here.
Yeah, I mean,
so this sweeper coming down the sheet can continue sweeping, you know, as necessary through the shot.
Yeah, and that's kind of the purpose, and just the guidelines that were put out by Curling Canada are made to be modified as needed by curling facilities or events like this, based on what's going on in your region. And the whole idea of not having the skips or the person in control of the house sweeping behind the tee is to try to get separation between people, because as you know, there are times when both skips could be sweeping. And if that's the case, you know that the heads are going to be within a foot of each other, which is not social distancing. Therefore, that's why that rule is in play.
Yeah, you look at, we do allow a second sweeper in play, but we've been working on trying to get as much distance between them and the other sweeper, the active sweeper. They're there. They can help with communication, especially without being able to yell down the sheet. You know, you can have that one player whose job it is to work on communication with the skip while the other player is doing the work. And of course, just to repeat that, those Curling Canada, a lot of people call them rules, but they are guidelines, and they are applied across the country differently based on local health restrictions. Like you look, the Atlantic bubble right now is a very different world from Toronto, for example, and you wouldn't treat both the same if they were different countries. And so there's no reason to treat them the same just because they're both inside of Canada. So this is sort of the strange we're dealing with all season long.
Big time. A question about the 5 rock rule and how it's changed the game. We talked about this a bit earlier, but it's truly brought a different type of strategy to the game. You saw their 2 corner guards go up, and despite Team Epping being up, they would still throw a center line guard on their 2 in the top of the house there. More of the offense is your best defense.
Yeah, the way I like to describe it is it's both teams still have to continue playing the game. Like when a team goes on to the defense and they just hit everything and they're trying to clear, they're not really playing to score anymore. They're now just trying to prevent the other team from scoring, and that just creates a game that's not nearly as exciting anymore. So really, the idea that you can keep both teams actively playing offense just creates a more exciting game. That question from Joe the Pro. Joey Rettinger played the mixed doubles on the opening weekend as well. It was great to see Joey around the club.
It's also important to note that this comes into effect mostly at the top levels of the game. I know there are a lot of people playing a house league or grassroots curling who are quite concerned about how these would all affect it. And I did say it doesn't have as dramatic of an effect there because you're typically not playing peels at that level. You don't often see peels done on purpose at the grassroots. I mean, there are some leagues at clubs that do have teams that have that ability, but in general, you're not seeing that. So I like to say you're already playing the 5 rock rule. You just didn't know it.
Yeah, exactly. You'll get this into some of the competitive leagues within the club where the teams do dabble playing outside the clubs often. So there's a little bit more mixing with rules and tactics and stuff. And I think it just creates a more intriguing game at the end of the day. And the changes are really coming from how you have to continue playing offense longer into the game. It shouldn't change the fact that this call is the next call and the next call. That, eventually teams will get comfortable with what's supposed to come next. And I think that's part of the challenge with 5 rock rule in clubs. Skips are seeing stuff that they've never seen before, and all of a sudden they got to step back and take another look at it.
Yeah, when you see more rocks in play, there are more options. And that can be the challenge of mixed doubles when you see rocks already in play and how the free guard zone works with that one, which is you can't remove a rock and play for the first few rocks. You're seeing more rocks more. So just usually your first instinct is the best. So go with that one. And the Camm team was trying to play a double on those 2 red rocks and roll towards the center, playing a bit of cleanup But again, that spot up the weight a little bit out and just ran on them. See, that's a good shot of the yellow rock. It's exposed, but just barely. Team Epping was talking about the hin roll. They'd like to sit for second and third after this one, possible.
Yeah, you're going to have to tease that guard a little bit to make this shot. Probably throw a little softer weight than you'd really be comfortable throwing out here, too.
We do have a final score. Team Howard with a 7-1 win over Team Tippin.
Epping looking for the hit and roll. Clears the guard. Just stays on the nose there, but doesn't count that top yellow. Really the key in this shot at the end of the day.
Exactly. So Team Camm's just looking to see how they can generate a deuce out of this end. It's pretty important at this stage. Again, the sixth end here, they need that, especially against a team like Epping. So I think he's looking at how much air they have between that rock and the house and the corner guards. Oh, glad we got that shot because they're looking at the air now between that top guard and the rock on the side, trying to do about what John was and get either a nose or a roll, and they need to make sure they're sitting too.
I think they saw what John shot did. You know, I think that cleared their guard by enough in their mind that they can, paper the guard and maybe make this roll.
And it goes back to my comment of when you're playing a team like Team Epping, you have to take these kind of risks. Is it the easiest shot in the world? No, but making
You're down 3.
You have to do it.
Yep. Yeah, he's just playing the hit and roll here. Nice down weight. Getting creative. This opens up the top one to score. And then if he can sit shot in between those two reds, it'd be a gem. Just like that. Needed to hit that a hair bit thicker with a bit more roll. He needed a bit more weight on that.
Still a tough decision here for John.
Yeah. This opens up the top one to bring 2 into play here too. Like for Epping, the run back to kill this probably gives Camm a shot for 2. Like the short run there on that top 4 redstone.
Mm-hmm. Which is why they're talking about the tap in this case.
Yep, the tap, of course, brings 3 into play. If these angles don't line up right, Camm will have a triple 4-3, bringing all 3 yellow into score.
Mm-hmm. It's like they even discussed putting one in about top 12 too. I think that might be the call. Because in doing that, they take away Red and Epping. They team it. They're shot right now. So if they can take away a good chance for 2, they know if there's a shot for 2, Team Camm will take it. But no matter what shot they play, even if this rock wasn't thrown, it's still a tough shot for 2.
Yeah, you look at Epping. He sees an opportunity to get a force here, right? The whole end they were looking good to force Camm to a single. So they're sort of reluctant to just throw that smash for that same reason, too.
Going back to sometimes offense is your best defense here. Sometimes we get so concerned with the scoreboard and having a big score that being up so much, you just think you need to smash it all the time, but that's not the case.
And they're throwing a guard on the situation here.
Yeah. So you can see here there may be a chance for Probably not. It's tough to see from this angle. We don't have an angle to see how much they have of that red in the top four, but it looks like they're looking more about doing some sort of a run slash or a redirect off the yellow, something fancy.
You get the long shot here to take a good look.
Yeah, so you can.
I think
Looks like they're playing at the double run is what they're eyeballing right now.
double run's an option. You could play that straight through the hole, try and get that red going straight back. Maybe hold the shooter on the edge to score a 3.
I think that's the shot they have to play, and it looks like they're putting it up for that. As you can see, there's not a big, basically no room for error here. You've got a 15-foot run back double, avoid your own. Oh, and they'll just go for the draw after all that chat.
Yeah, you know what? A good mature call here for the young skip. I think this is one of these ones where you throw the Hail Mary sometimes a little too easily. For Jason Camm, he's going to try and score his 1 and maybe try and find a way to steal a point next end and make it interesting for 8.
And you talk about that 5 rock rule coming to play. You can steal with that. A big scrub here.
It's on that slower side. The longer curl, unfortunately, comes up short. Steal a 1 for sure. I think that's what they settled on. Single point for Team Epping. Leads 6-2 now after 6 ends here at the Stu Sells Tankard. We're streaming live from the KW Granite Club in Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario.
When I sweep with the Gold Line Fiber Light, I feel like I'm sweeping on TV.
That's light.
More surface area, better results.
It's that easy.
It's that easy. You need to sweep for weight? You need to sweep with this.
Now, every time I curl, people ask me, what are you sweeping with?
What are you sweeping with?
What are you sweeping with?
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Firehouse Subs has so many delicious quality subs. There's something for everyone. But the one that started it all more than 25 years ago was the Hook and Ladder. Piping hot and piled high with freshly sliced smoked turkey breast, honey ham, melted Monterey Jack, and loaded with the freshest toppings on a toasted roll. Try the Hook and Ladder today to find out why everyone keeps coming back again and again. The Hook and Ladder. One bite and you'll be hooked. Visit firehousesubs.ca to order online.
Special thank you to Patrick Morris of Firehouse Subs for his support of the Stu Sells series. Patrick's been a great supporter from the beginning. The Stu Sells series now growing to 8 total events. Next season, 2 more being added as Stu expands into the regional tour sort of series. Adding the Port Elgin Super Spiel and the Brantford Nissan Classic into a 5-event chase for a new car from Brantford Nissan.
And we're in the 7th end here. We have Team Epping leading 6-2 over Team Camm. And kudos to your team here, Jerry, for all the work that you guys have been putting in the long hours as well this weekend, last weekend, and know you have plans for weekends to come as well.
Yeah, we're hoping to get more of these events coming out. We got the Saskatchewan Super Series next weekend. Matt Dunstone, Colton Flash. I need to go through the names, like Ryland Kleider's likely playing. Corey Hartung would be part of that, I would imagine. Cody Hartung, sorry. The top Saskatchewan men's teams are going to put together a bit of a show. Still working on the details around streaming. I know they were looking to raise some funds to bring in some higher quality cameras and equipment. So if you're looking to help out, to help support the cause there, reach out to Team Dunstone on social media. They'll certainly put your sponsorship towards that event. And we will show all kinds of commercials and lots of good stuff to go around it too.
Quick update on the 2 other games on the ice mentioned before. Glen Howard with a 7-1 win over Team Tippin. And Sam Steep is playing Ryland Hardy and are currently up 4-1 after 5 ends, and Team Steep with the hammer in the 6th. So the key in this end for Team Camm will just be to manipulate the rocks a little bit better. They weren't sitting great towards the end of the end. You could see there that they were forced to draw for the single, but they really need to pick up at least 2. I would say honestly 3 at this point. And that's a good example of manipulating the rocks around, not necessarily needing to remove them, but getting that tap and roll behind the guards. Right now, the rocks behind the tee are friend to Team Camm, something that they can use to generate offense, freeze to eventually. Maybe even get a lucky jam.
Again, Team Camm, just small mistakes here and there that just sets them behind. Saw that in their game against Howard earlier.
And when you're playing top teams like Howard and Epping, you don't really have a huge margin for error. You can't make those mistakes. Team Epping just peeling the high guard. Team Camm did get 2 guards in there, those 2 corner guards on the same side really nicely, back to back and lots of separation. So it was tough to make a double on them. Going to replace it. It is slipping deep. It's a double, if not a triple here, potentially.
We're also working to try and put some streaming together for the KW Fall Classic, another event here in Kitchener-Waterloo, coming up in 2 weeks. Looking for some help there with sponsorship. Anybody interested in putting some funds towards the streaming? We've got this whole same setup that we can put forward there at the same time as well.
Looks like they elected to play the hidden roll. You can see the guard over curled a bit, left that rock open in the top. So Team Epping will be sitting 4 in the house.
Those stones, though, helpful for Team Camm.
This is a pretty key shot right here for Matt Hall. Looked like the call was to play the hidden roll. They're talking about it a bit, but this is a good chance for. This is a really important time to talk because you need to make sure you know exactly what you're throwing and how to throw it. They need to get their rocks in play and in behind that guard. Well, they got by the top red, which was really key, but they left it there. You can see it's just a short run back for Team Epping. And at this point, you look at the scoreboard up for, you're trying to eliminate those yellow rocks. And took that one, rolled the shooter out. There are only 2 red stones in the back. Now we've got 2 corner guards on the side that Team Camm is trying to draw around right now. Another crucial shot here for Matt Hall. The team really needs to bury this rock in behind the guard, ideally above the tee line, but the key is that it is buried. The sweeper's backing right off of this. Getting into position, try to carve this rock if possible. Again, they need to keep it in the rings. And it will just slip out the back. This will be a draw for Team Epping. Keep this over to the side, but a little bit closer to the 4-foot area. So that Team Camm tries to draw around, they won't be able to set shot.
Just a little loss of focus there. You get down like Team Camm is. Sometimes you just lose that little bit of edge.
Yeah, draw weight has been a little bit elusive to Team Camm this game as well. Just maybe not picking up quite on what the paths are doing. And well, just as I say that, Team Epping has been struggling a bit too. You can see here, it's not until it gets to the center line that it curls and starts to lose the weight. You can see it's slowing down now, but that's it's a couple feet deeper than they would have liked. It really does depend on whether the rock catches the curl or not. But because that's behind the tee, Team Camm is playing a freeze. Pretty precise shot here. No room for error.
Everything is behind the tee line here. Good shot. Does give him a chance to get 2.
This rock is hanging a bit. Might even be looking at the freeze on the other back rock.
Jordy Lionhatcher on the sweep here.
A beauty weight, just didn't quite get the line.
Yeah, they needed to curl exactly a full rock. Still, there is some backing protecting that stone. Epping has to get about half that rock, get it by the back.
Making this go away is so important.
Stays in play. Question is, I believe there's only the 2 reds in the rings. We're just sort of cut off at the bottom there a little bit. So a double here to score 2 for Team Camm, it looks like. ended up hitting too much of the other redstone. Had that redstone not been there, the shot would have cleared and would have picked that out the side door, no problem.
Not sure why they weren't sweeping that one. But here we go, double for 2.
Not today. Looks like they needed to make the triple. There was another red one back there. That was a steal of 1 more. Maybe 2 more. Team Epping will win, though. Teams are kicking the stones down to the other end. So that will be the end of this game. Team Epping wins to improve to 3-1. They'll play 1 more. Both these teams 1 more on the round robin at 5 p.m. later this afternoon. Coming up at 1:30, we've got women's draw action. Lauren Mann and Kathy Ald, I believe. I'd have to check the schedule to be certain. But, yeah, be sure to tune in again. 1:30 Eastern Time. Lauren Mann taking on Kathy Ald. Confirmed matchup. Thanks a lot, Danielle. Really appreciate having you on the stream this morning. Jumping up for an early start here.
My pleasure, Jerry.
So we'll be back again at 1:30. Thanks again to all our great sponsors. We've got Brantford Nissan, Royal Bank, Keith Joel. We've got Remax Hallmark, Firehouse Subs, Gold Line, and of course Stu Sankey of Stu Sells Realty. We'll be back at 1:30 p.m. Until then, everyone take care.
Hey fellow curling fans, it's Stu here from the Stu Sells series. And I know that with COVID happening, curling tournaments getting canceled, curling clubs are being postponed or not opening, and you're all missing competitive curling. Well, I've got some great news. The KW Granite Curling Club has stepped up to the plate, and this weekend they're going to host the Stu Sells Oakville Tankard, and on Thanksgiving weekend they're going to host the Stu Sells Toronto Tankard. And I went out, I invested a lot of money, and I bought top-of-the-line streaming equipment. So I've got great news. We're going to bring you live competitive curling online through the StuCurls.com site and Curling Zone. So we're going to bring some great curling for you to watch. So I want you to grab your beer or your Chardonnay, grab your snacks, sit back and enjoy. But the reason for this video and the GoFundMe campaign is the live streaming is really, really expensive. And I didn't want to have you subscribe to something or pay a fee to sign up to watching curling. I want to bring curling to all the curling fans across Canada, the United States, and the world. So we're just asking everyone to go on the GoFundMe page and donate $10, $20 and help us do the live streaming for this weekend, next weekend, and if we raise more money, we can do live streaming at all other events too. So remember, stay safe out there, 6 feet apart, wash your hands, wear a mask, and go to the Stu Sells Instagram and tell me what you think about my funky new backsplash.
No matter what speed you're comfortable with, the G50 line has a shoe for you.
That's comfortable and stylish.
When it was time to get his first pair of curling shoes, we went with Goal Line. Now it's time for the G50.
Looks great, but it grips better than anything. Man, this is a light curling shoe.
These remind me of why I like to play the game.
This is actually the most comfortable curling shoe I have ever owned. It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Firehouse Subs has so many delicious quality subs. There's something for everyone. But the one that started it all more than 25 years ago was the Hook and Ladder. Piping hot and piled high with freshly sliced smoked turkey breast, honey ham, melted Monterey Jack, and loaded with the freshest toppings on a toasted roll. Try the Hook and Ladder today to find out why everyone keeps coming back again and again. The Hook and Ladder. One bite and you'll be hooked. Visit firehousesubs.ca to order online.
Glenn Howard here. I'm a proud beer store manager, one of 7,000 hardworking employees. There's been a lot of talk lately about putting beer in the corner stores. So let's talk about the beer store. We keep prices down with our efficient distribution system. We check IDs, keeping beer out of the hands of minors. We take back and recycle 87% of beer containers sold in Ontario. And we love what we do. I'm proud to say when it comes to selling beer, the beer store does it the best.
Hey fellow curling fans, it's Stu here. Hey guys, I'm so excited about our new listing for the Stu Sells team. We are in our home turf, the Junction, and we are bringing this phenomenal semi to market. It's a corner lot with a huge side yard. It's got 3 bedrooms up, 1 bedroom in the basement, 2 full bathrooms, spectacular brand new hardwood floors, gorgeous kitchen, brand new 2-piece on the main floor, full finished rec room. You can have a family room, home office, above grade windows, nice and bright, separate entrance at the back. This home is awesome. We also have parking in the back. But look, we're in the Junction. The Sweet Potato is just right there. All the stores, funky shops in the Junction. And now with Cafe TO, they've all gone out in the streets with really cool patios. So you can go to Noto's patio and have Italian. You can go to the Alpines patio and get some great food. And everything's walking distance. And also, don't forget to give us a call if you want your Stu Says Slow Down sign. Stay safe and scrub your hands and support our frontline workers. So go to stusells.ca. You can see all the photos, the video, and then give me, Stu, a call and come for a personal tour.